Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome back to 89 Octane. Today we are starting our new series, and this on the screen right now in front of you is the Hyundai Veloster N. Now, if you haven't been living under a rock, this just got released, and it's free in Forza if you want it. There's a Hyundai Veloster car pack. It has two cars, the Hyundai Veloster Turbo and this, and today we are starting a new series, and it is going to be the Forza Hot Laps series. You guys seem to like it on the old channel. It's fun to do, so we're starting it up on here. It will be its own playlist. I will also have a list of all the cars that have gone around the track, which you will see in a second on Google Docs sometime soon. Anyways, we're going to start by establishing 4 different hot hatchback cars, including the Hyundai Veloster, which we will talk more about later. But first, let's get into the Honda Civic Type R. So the Civic Type R came out around a year ago. It's fairly popular. I mean, people like it. I personally believe that it's kind of riced from factory. Anyways, guys, so the track that I chose was Circuit of the Americas, and I'm actually not sure where it's located. I was just thinking about that. So anyways, Circuit of the Americas. On the old channel, I used to do Monza, and I found that that was way too straightaway based. And so I like this because, as you can see here, the Type R is going around. This is a series of swooping high-speed turns, fast turns, and it ends around here. And then we've got a couple more turns, and then we get a big straight section, which you guys will see in a second. So, and then after the big straightaway, there is a bunch of small, tight corners. So I really felt as if this was the best option because it really incorporates almost every single type of, most elements that you can put on a road course. So that's why I chose Circuit of the Americas. Anyways, guys, the Honda coming up on the straightaway. I will say, of the cars tested today, that this was, this one went the fastest on the straightaway. It's got 300 and some horsepower. I think it's 305, 300. I'm gonna look it up for you guys right now. Anyways, yeah, you guys can watch go down the straight here. It looks really composed. I mean, it's a straightaway, and this corner is one of the hardest to take. I had to rewind so many times with all the cars today on this corner just to make sure it was taken right. And the Honda was actually one of the easier ones to take it with, even though I don't believe it has the best braking. There's 2 other cars in this video today with hot hatchbacks that I actually believe have better brakes in this car. Anyways, now you can see we're in the tight cornering section. This will kind of limit the cars that have a ton of power and no real handling capabilities. This is where you're kind of going to get screwed, and this is where a car like the Honda will take advantage of cars like that. Anyways, let me search up this horsepower number for you guys. I think it's 305, and we're almost done with the race actually, so I gotta really do this fast. And this is the last corner. Oh god, I'm trying to look at this number. Alright, so we're on the last main straight. 306, close enough. 306 horsepower. Anyways, guys, now we're going to flash up the time, which you can see right there. And that's going to go on our Google Doc. Anyways, our next car, I'm going to flash up the time for all of these cars because I used to not do it, and I think it adds a level of, so you guys don't go, oh, he said it went this time. Oh, I want to give you guys the best information I can when it comes to these hot laps. Anyways, our next car is the Volkswagen Golf R. This is the 2014 model. This is incredibly good at braking. It's basically an Audi S3 or S1 with a VW badge. Well, now S1. I'm not sure if it has the S3 or the S1 engine in it. I believe it has the S1 engine at this point. But this is a 2014 model. They don't have a 2018, 2017 model. Anyways, it absolutely flies through the high-speed corners. It's an incredibly well-handling car. And now we're going to get to the longer portion of the track on the straightaways, where it did not perform up to par with the Honda Civic Type R. But personally, I would rather have the Golf than the Honda because I feel like the Golf, I like a car that's understated. And, when you see this car go by, the blue is a little, it's a little out there. It's a different paint color, but, and there is certain cues that you could see to tell that this is a Golf R, not a Golf GTI, for example? Well, first of all, there's R badges all over it. Second of all, it's got the quad exhaust instead of the dual exhaust. And now if you look on the older models like the R32, those have center exhaust, but as you can see, as it's going down here to this tough corner, this one has the quad exhaust. The newer ones have quad exhaust, and I believe that is the same with the 2018 model. Anyways, this is where the Golf really shines, is in these tight cornering situations. Compared to the Honda, the Golf has all-wheel drive, and the Honda has front-wheel drive. And today we actually have 2 cars that are front-wheel drive and 2 that are all-wheel drive. Anyways, it just absolutely destroys these tight corners, and I think, you know, it'll keep up with the Honda in this section. The trouble for the Golf is it definitely does not go as fast on the straights as the Honda. You know, I'm not sure what that is. It wasn't a huge differentiation. The Honda went like 136, the Golf 130, 132, so it was somewhere in that region. So most of these cars should have times relatively close to each other, and after every single one, they will flash up on the screen. Anyways, turning on to the main straight here, the Golf R. This is where it struggles on the straightaway portions, but still should put in a good time. Seems to be quite fast. Anyways, now the time is going to flash up for you guys. There you go. And on to the Ford Focus RS. Now, the Ford Focus RS had a lot of hype coming up to it. There's only 500 of them built. Actually, where I live up in Illinois, I have seen quite a few of them. They're not that uncommon. I can imagine in some places they're extremely uncommon. But up here, not so much. I don't believe I've seen a white one. I see a lot of blue ones, there's a lot of black ones, and there's a couple gray ones. But white I have found to be the least common color. Probably because it gets dirty relatively easily, but so does black. So black you notice all the dust on, so I'm not sure what they were thinking there. I don't know why there's no white ones up here. Anyways, it flies through these high-speed portions too. It has all-wheel drive similar to the Golf R. The 2 all-wheel drive cars are in the middle, and now that these 3 cars have gone, you guys know last is the Hyundai Veloster N, the brand new car, but the Focus still insanely fast, almost fast as a Mustang GT. There's been a variety of tests that have actually appears it might be faster than a Mustang GT, which is incredibly impressive with the type of practicality. It's 5-door. The Hyundai is actually a 4-door. It has two doors on the passenger side and one on the driver's side. Interesting fact, you guys will see that in a little bit. Anyways, it does great on the straight as well. Probably better than the Golf, but the Honda, I do distinctly remember going the fastest down the straight in. 136, this one probably went 134. They're all right in that same range, and that's why you'll see these cars end up having such close times. The Ford Focus does get a little bit worse than the Golf. It does a little bit worse than the Golf in these super tight cornering sections. Not sure why. It still brakes amazing. It's just not as precise with handling, at least in the game. It's not. I'm not sure how they are in the real world, but this is really, you know, Forza has become a car simulator at this point. So this is one of the best ways. This is the best way I could test them. So for you guys. Anyways, on to the big swooping corners. Looks great. And now we're going to head to the last 2 corners before the big straightaway. I found that this car does do the very, fast corners. It does those the best of the cars I drove today. Anyways, into the last corner and onto the last straight. The time will be flashing up for you guys in a second. Remember, I'm going to make a Google Doc of that after 3 of these videos. Anyways, here it is, guys. The Ford Focus RS, done with its lap. There's time. And on to the new boy on the block, the Hyundai Veloster N. So, I believe the man who runs the N division actually worked for BMW. I know this is a fact. He worked for BMW under the M division, so it's kind of funny that he goes to Hyundai and names it the N division. Anyways, he was quoted saying that he doesn't care about Nürburgring lap times and just wants to make a fun car to drive, which I have tremendous respect for. I think it's a brilliant idea. Make a car that's brilliant to drive on the road, because everyone taking their hot hatch, they're not taking them to the Nürburgring. Nobody wants to take their hot hatchback to the Nürburgring. That's not what a hot hatchback is meant to do. I mean, yes, there are ones that go insanely fast around it, like the Club Sport, the Golf Club Sport, but that is not the purpose of this car. So we're going to see how fast it goes around Circuit of the Americas today, and to just comparison to some of the other hot hatches in its similar division, the super hot hatch. Anyways, this one is also front-wheel drive, and it does handle extremely well. I'd rate the Golf probably #1 and this #2 easily on handling, and the brakes on this car are by far the best. It's the best braking car. It is not the fastest on the straightaway, and that's what's going to hurt, because the Honda, 306 horsepower, that was our fastest on the straight. This, 270 horsepower, doesn't have a ton of torque either. Well, it has some. It's just 250 pound-feet. I should say that's not a ton. It is, you know, a lot for a car of its size. As you can see, going down the straight, you see the 2 doors on the passenger side, and now we're going to get to see the 1 door on the driver's side in a minute. If you can't tell that it's 2 doors, it's because the rear door handle is on the pillar instead of on the door. Well, it's like the door is part of it's built into the door. Sorry, it's not on the pillar. That would not be good. That you'd pull a handle and it'd pop open, and then you wouldn't know what to do, because your handle would not be on the door, so you wouldn't know where to grab the door. Anyways, it does extremely well on these tight cornering sections. As I said, it's probably the second best handling car here. It is front-wheel drive, as I stated earlier. It's this big sweeping corner. It does not feel front-wheel drive. It almost feels rear-wheel drive when you're playing the game, which I think is a tremendous compliment for a hot hatch. And the Hyundai Veloster N. Also, I don't believe they've released pricing at the time that I'm recording this video, so we'll see. It is a step up from the Hyundai Veloster Turbo, just as the Ford Focus RS is a step up from the Ford Focus ST type thing. Anyways, guys, on to our final straight of the day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.